Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to the Pain Clinic for May 23rd. Wow, this month is going by fast. It's holidays today. It's Lucky Penny Day, National Taffy Day, and World Turtle Day. Happy birthday. Shout out to Alex Shelley, who's 43 today, soon to be a free agent, and Bray Wyatt would have been 39 today. Hey, interested in roller derby? You want to be a skater, officiate Rock City Roller Derby? Needs you. Contact recruitment at rockderbyrecruitment@gmail.com. Enjoying the Rock City Roller Derby. If you're into the men's team, Flower City Fear, FLOUR, flowercityfear.com. Always looking for help. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. What we're going to talk about today. And by the way, I'm the Cashman, I'm your humble host. I'm joined by Rob Sanderson. Rob Sanderson, how are you doing today?
Good morning. Wow. I am not the last person on camera this morning. Look at that.
You're not, and yeah, and cool. And we are joined also by DC Dan Cole from NC, and there's DC. And it was a sad week last week with the Buffalo Sabres going down in OT to the Montreal Canadiens, who now get fed to, I guess, Carolina.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a bummer.
Carolina Hurricanes that haven't played in a year. Yeah.
It seems like forever, hasn't it? Oh my gosh. That's kind of that's a bummer. It was a bummer. It was, it ended in OT, so you couldn't go any longer in a series than 7 games in overtime, unless you did double overtime or triple overtime. But that was kind of a bummer. I know
nothing more nerve-wracking than a winner-take-all overtime in a hockey playoff series. So
definitely, and then being down 2-0 in the game too.
Yeah.
So, we were mourning our Buffalo Sabres hockey loss, and we're rooting for everybody else now than Montreal. It's hard to root for Carolina,
I am not rooting for Montreal. Never will. But there's 4 teams left, and the only team I don't really have anything against in any way, shape, or form would be the Colorado Avalanche.
I was gonna say the Vegas Golden Knights. They're here again, as they say.
So sick of them. I mean, like, there are people on that team in that franchise and in that office that I really like, that I'm friends with, that I've worked with previously. I'm just so sick of them. I don't know how anybody outside of Vegas is not sick of them at this point. And credit to them, because they've been so successful in their first 8 years or whatever. But I did not see them taking a 2-0 series lead on Colorado. If you had asked me that if as of Saturday morning it would be a 2-0 Vegas series lead and a series lead for Montreal, would have called you crazy. But here we are. I don't know, after that Sabres loss, I've been a little temporarily less interested. It's not that I'm not interested, but it's just,
oh no, I get that. Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah. It's interesting, as I was flipping channels, I think it was Thursday night, and I came across a wrestler coming out in TNA, and it said Veni Vidi Vici, and I think it's kind of reminded me of the Golden Knights, the way, and it was end up being Giovanni Vinci, who was, I guess, now going by Fabian Art Aichner or whatever, but debuted on TNA this past week, and I thought I had turned into the hockey game by accident. It's like, wait a second, oh no. But because he's a color, he has the colors. It's like and I just caught the Titantron or whatever they call it there. But yeah,
Carlos Silvatron. I don't know what it is now.
Carlos Silvatron, whatever. They had nobody at their event that they taped for that. I mean, I
thought they were going to become the number 2 company.
I
thought
saw
that's what everybody was saying, right?
Yeah,
like
I saw pictures, and I was like, wow, how did they make it look like there were people there? Because they did. They crowded everybody up along the edge of the fences and stuff, but there was really nobody there for that. It was kind of a bummer for them. I mean, they had to have been,
and similar to Vegas, Golden Knights, TNA, like, I want them to do well. People I care about the work there and stuff, but it's just I had higher expectations. I think everybody had higher expectations for them after they got that TV deal, and it's just not any more interesting right now than it was a year ago to me.
Yeah.
So I'll
Yeah,
continue to tune in for big time Bill Collier matches.
he cut a
But
great promo this past week, by the way. He was part of a promo, you know, and you know, and I thought he did a great job. He was like super psyched, and you know, was screaming out the lines. I thought it was great. You know, I mean, it was one of the highlights of TNA this past week. So
I still need to see that. Yeah, no, I mean, he's the total package in so many ways, and always rooting for him. Just a really good, solid dude. Supports everybody else and stuff. It's great to see him finally on TV.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So I introduced everybody, and we did kind of like mourned in hockey a little bit. I want to tell you what we're going to talk about today. Obviously, we've got Double or Nothing tomorrow night. I want to talk a little bit about that. Saturday night main event tonight. Ludwig Kaiser issues. Speaking of Giovanni Vinci and Willow injured, unfortunately, this last week, and has to. Well, now we don't have a multi title. Well, she wasn't the tag titles, but she was at one time a multi-title holder. She has no titles now because of the injury, but we'll
But
get.
I mean, she was a TBS champion going for the Owen Cup to
Yeah,
try to win the Owen Cup again, kind of thing. So you're not totally off on that.
yeah, yeah. Can you imagine if she had three titles? Oh my gosh, no. But so we'll talk a little bit about that in the show, but let's talk right off the bat. We've got Double or Nothing. I want to talk about Double or Nothing because one, I'm really getting the feel that that MJF is winning this title back on the pay-per-view this weekend. I mean, I know we're kind of skipping over everything on the pay-per-view, but I've been trying to weigh it out in my mind. You know, is it worth, you know, MJF to go bald with a loss, you know, or does, you know, do we get this run by Darby Allin done, because he's actually faced quite a great amount of competition, and since he's won the title, he's probably defended it more than anybody else has. You know, after winning the title, I mean, week in, week out, he was, you know, defending it every week. So I think maybe he got a good,
Usually twice a week. I
yeah,
mean, yeah.
yeah. I think he got a good, I think he got a good run, and it wouldn't surprise me in the least for MJF to take that title back now, just so that we can build towards All In. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm seeing things incorrectly. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, DC? I mean, does Darby Allin have a chance to? I mean, with MJF, you know, quote unquote, surprised, you know, when he lost it, you know, is it, you know, now he's able to be prepared or whatever? I don't know. I don't know what prepared means in wrestling. They say it, but does it really mean anything? You know?
I'm just curious how it works if you've had the hair transplant surgery and then shave yourself bald.
I was wondering about that too. It's like that he's probably spent a lot of money on that, you know?
But honestly, I keep going back and forth in my head, and I can think of two scenarios for an outcome of the match, and they both involve Hangman Adam Page. One where he costs MJF, resulting in his hair loss.
Yeah.
One where he helps MJF win under the condition that he gets to challenge for the title again.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
So I, mean, I feel like
what do you have
either way, I think we're getting an appearance from him.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm 50-50 because I know it can't be Darby Allin that's going into All In.
Correct.
Yeah.
It makes more sense for it to be MJF. But I feel like it's also not quite time to take the title off of Darby. I think give him a little more.
He had more defenses than Hangman Adam Page did with that first run, without a doubt. You know,
how many more defenses did he have than that Punk guy who was a two-plus-time AEW champion and never defended the belt?
Never defended it once. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he lost it to Vacant both times.
Yeah. Yeah. What a run.
And I
still say that MJF's winning. It would be a good time for Hangman to come back. You know, and I think that's the right setting and stuff. But I also kind of wonder, like, there are so many people in AEW under contract, contenders and stuff, but like, how many of them has Darby not already faced in the last like 6 weeks or whatever? I mean, it's kind of once you go through everybody. I don't know. I think that was the intention from the start. I mean, we were on here predicting that Darby was going to win the title and only hold it till Double or Nothing at the latest. I'm going to stick with that still. You know, I think this has done a lot for his long-term viewing or spot or whatever you want to call it. I mean, I think he has established himself. He has had a really good reign. And I think seeing the support that he's gotten from some of his peers in and out of AEW has helped his standing as well. People that are really giving praise and putting him over and stuff for his abilities. I don't know. I can't say like every match of his is exactly the same because he always squeezes in those crazy, ridiculous, death-defying spots and stuff. But it's hard to say it's ran its course at this point. But unless MJF has done a really good job of hiding in upcoming movie filming, I don't see how MJF doesn't take it back tomorrow night.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I agree. And
I would have thought the same thing. The only reason I feel like it's going to go on a little more is I don't think anybody expected his run to be as good as it's been, and I just feel like they want to capitalize on that a bit more.
So let me throw this out that now that we brought Hangman Adam Page in there, what if MJF loses and he like makes a deal with Adam Page that Adam Page gets his head shaved and he can get another shot at the title? I know that's like a lot of written story that shouldn't be in wrestling, but you know, I mean, that's the only way I could see Darby keeping it. I can't see, you know, because yes, MJF has hair plugs or whatever, you know, had surgeries and added the hair to his head, but and then, you know, obviously as soon as I heard that it was going to be a hair match, it's like, he's not losing his hair. I truly doubt that. So, but yeah, you know, it's tough. But I think Darby has got a great run. Yeah, like I said, it's better than a few of the champs we've had, you know, and this has been like a month, you know, so.
The hair thing, I feel like, I don't know. I can't buy too much into that side of things because if they want to shave MJF, like you get that pop, you get to sell the t-shirts with his bald head, all that kind of stuff. And like, there's no reason why Tony Khan doesn't put him on a private jet right back to Turkey to get it done again at no cost to him. I mean, that's a fixable situation still. It's just obviously it's a little different than most hair match situations, but I don't know. I agree. Like in terms of the all in thing as to who is dropping the belt to Will Ospreay at Wembley, which again, we've been saying that for a year and a half since before Ospreay left for surgery and everything. Still sticking with that as well. It certainly could be MJF, no doubt about it. That might be the best choice. I think there are other choices out there that we could get to in the next few months that could be the one to drop it as a transitional champion. But I agree, it can't be Darby. Ospreay, babyface, winning. He can't beat somebody popular like Darby for the belt. That doesn't work.
I honestly like the potential storytelling of somehow getting the title back on Swerve. Yeah. Just because look at where those two were a year ago fighting side by side at the same event. And now here they are facing off.
You could do it and you still have two more pay-per-views after tomorrow before All In. I wonder.
Oh, it doesn't even need to be a pay-per-view. The way they have Darby defending on every single show.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, even look at Dynamite on Wednesday night. That was better than most pay-per-view cards from any company.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That start off with that match between what's his name? Thomas Ciampa and or Tomas, whatever. You know, it was what was it? What was it? It was like no rules pretty much.
No holds barred, essentially.
Yeah, it was, I mean, when you staple the page to someone's head and they're wrestling still, you know, it's like pretty gross, you know.
I really wish we could have gotten a picture in picture during the commercial break though, because I would have loved to have seen the segment with the chicken.
Yeah, that's true because they talked about, yeah. So yeah, and Briscoe, like, I'm surprised when he was over, but yeah, it was a great show last Wednesday. Are you kidding me? They could, yeah. I don't see them doing the main title ever being lost on a regular TV show though. But I
But
mean,
This whole
I,
situation, though, I will say this: if you would have told me a couple years ago, at one point we're going to have Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Darby Allin as the
Darby
top
Allin did
world
win it on
champions,
TV.
and Darby Allin was having the best title run of any of them,
Yeah.
I probably would have laughed at you.
yeah.
Remember when they were the pillars, you know?
Yeah.
I just want to throw that there. But Darby did win it on TV. You're right. You're correct there. So it's like, but you don't see that happen often, you know? I remember WWE used to do it like crazy when they were trying to get ratings back, and they would drop titles on TV, the heavyweight title, or it would change hands and whatnot. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think like for me, I don't want to see massive title changes on taped shows, but a live show, you're getting more people watching your Dynamite than you are your pay-per-views. So, and I know some people, this week as well, were like, why is that Champa Briscoe match not on the pay-per-view? Which is a valid question, but the answer is that the pay-per-view is in the state of New York under the New York State Athletic Commission. So you're not getting that match at Louis Armstrong Stadium. Just not possible. So I really like the card for tomorrow. There is a lot of intrigue in that. In terms of Swerve becoming champion again, I think he absolutely will be AEW World Champion at least one more time, probably much more than that. But I'm still curious to see where they can go with him and Bandito. I'm really looking forward to that match. I think that's one of the real underrated matches on that card for tomorrow. So I think there's ways to keep him occupied and very relevant without needing the title in these next few months.
Yeah, and I agree. Anybody in Bandito is a good match, but I like the setup this past week on Dynamite where ran out and attacked him. So, but let me go through the pay-per-view a little bit and we'll go, listen, everybody in AEW is on this show. Okay. I don't think anybody's being left out because even on the pre-show, you've got the women's tag champs are on the pre-show, a 5-minute championship eliminator match.
They had a real match.
I don't know versus Zeta Steel and Viva Van. That's and then we got on the pre-show Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, Roderick Strong, Big Boom, and AJ. Ugh. And QT Marshall versus Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, Carly Bravo, Sean Dean, Anthony Ogogo, and a 10-man tag. That's before the show ever starts. And then when the show gets going, we're going to get that 14-man Stadium Stampede match, which they set up heavily on Dynamite this past week too, with Bobby Lashley coming down and assisting Jericho and the Jacksons. But we got Jericho, Lashley, Benjamin, Kenny Omega, Nick Jackson, Matt Jackson, and Jack Perry versus Ricochet, Toa Liona, Bishop Khan, Mark Davis, Andrade El Idolo, David Finlay, and Clark Connors. And where are they again? Oh, they're in an indoor stadium, right?
I don't know if it's fully indoor or not. I'm not too familiar with the Louis Armstrong Stadium, but
yeah, I'm not either. But
it's in the same spot as Arthur Ashe, which is getting some renovations or something. But I'm pretty sure it's a little bit smaller, a little bit taller, and I want to say it's open air, but.
I know it does have a retractable roof.
Oh. I know that
retractable roof. What a concept that I wish other people would.
Yeah. Well, heated seats should melt the snow. Okay, but
we shouldn't have snow on May 24th.
That's true.
I never say never, but
well, I know where you're going. So
are you guys having snow this week?
No, we're talking about
maybe.
Stadium.
I don't know.
I get it. The new Bill Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, when you got to pay $10,000 for a personal seat license, and then
$18
million per regular season NFL. Yeah, okay.
It's a good thing the best seat in the house is at home in front of the TV. I'll just say that. So
I mean, you probably spend just as much buying all the different subscriptions you need to watch every single NFL game.
That's true too. So well, they may be doing it in the Arthur Ashe tennis area next door. I wouldn't be surprised in the least that's where the Stadium Stampede will start or end, Yeah, with the retractable roof. But I mean, I've seen it when it's open, when they have the U.S. Open there, and it's a big stadium.
So you're gonna say that one team is on one side of the roof, one team's on the other, and then they retract toward each other to start the match as the bell rings. Perfect.
Well, there's supposed to be rain, so I have a feeling the roof won't be open. I think they're calling for, yeah, like, there we go. That's how they'll meet. They got to wait till they get to the center, right? Okay, so that's on the show. Then we got Athena versus Mina Shirakawa in the Owen Hart Cup. We got a bunch of Owen Hart Cup matches. We got Swerve and Bandito. That's going to tear the house down. I'm going to throw out a prediction right now that Swerve's going to win the Owen Hart Cup. I'm just going to put that out there. I think, but Will Ospreay and Samoa Joe are in the Owen Hart Cup too. So, boy, it's a tough one. All these matches are on the pay-per-view. Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly. I mean, I might have seen them last week on Dynamite, but they're going to have no time limit for the AEW Continental Championship. Okada versus Takeshita. There's the match that everyone's been wanting to see for about a year or two now.
Yes, please.
Yeah, that's please. And then we got Tekla, Hikaru Shida, Chris Statlander, and Jamie Hayter in a four-way for the AEW Women's Championship. Tekla has been good so far. Good enough to win these multiple women title matches. I wouldn't, and then got FTR versus Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, New York Street Fight I Quit match. And if Copeland and Cage lose, they can't tag together again ever. So, which, I know that retirement is on the horizon for Adam Copeland because he's only talked about it in a couple interviews this past week. So I don't know what that means, but it'd be nice if they won the titles and then maybe drop them very quickly after that. And of course, the main event, Darby and MJF hair versus title match. This is going to be a great pay-per-view. There's a lot of matches on the two on the pre-show that are pretty good, but I
believe there's a third pre-show match as well. I'm pretty sure there's Ops, Death Riders, like a 6-man or something.
I think there was one added that I did not get on there, or maybe I deleted it by accident. But there's 9 on the card and 2 on the pre-show. So,
well, we don't have to work Monday, so
that's true.
Good night for a long pay-per-view.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. So yeah, thank goodness for Memorial Day, and of course what it stands for as well. But yeah, that's this pay-per-view. I think it's very advantageous that they do have the next day off, because that would that probably eke a few people into wanting to get it, that they wouldn't have. But we didn't really go through our predictions on them, but I did want to, I do think that Darby Allin's dropping the title. That's the only thing I see is clear. I don't know, and I could be wrong. Hopefully I am. I like when I'm wrong, because then it's like, oh crap, I didn't. I read it the wrong way. So, but they've done a good job setting up this pay-per-view. We've had some great. Like I said, the Dynamite before was as good as a pay-per-view, and it went 3 hours, and I don't even think I made it through the last hour, because it was the Collision was the last hour. I guess Collision tonight is going to follow up the hockey.
Tonight's just like the countdown show.
Oh, it's countdown. Okay. Yeah. That is following the playoffs, though. I know that. I didn't think they were going to have any original matches or anything. But it was a solid show. We got a great pay-per-view coming up this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, normally I'm the guy that says like, I'm not too crazy about this card going in, but I know it's going to be a good show. Not saying that this time. I think this is a very good card. I have high expectations for this pay-per-view. There's really nothing on the main card that I'm not looking forward to. And in terms of like, I fully expect Cage and Cope to have a quick tag title run. It's really intriguing thinking about these next few months with, everybody they've already got in this tag division, and talking everything about FTR and Cage and Cope and the Bucks, and then potentially adding New Day and Motor City Machine Guns, and you've got the Rascals, and you've got all of these teams. Like I think this could be the real peak of AEW tag team wrestling coming up this summer. But Yeah, I agree. I think MJF wins. I think Osprey beats Joe. Really looking forward to that match.
Yeah.
A little bit of a question mark on the women's four-way. Like my initial thought would be that Tekla retains. She's just been so good, but there definitely could be something there with the whole Sheeta Statlander thing. Maybe Sheeta gets it again somehow in a surprise. I don't think Jamie Hayter has a chance of winning it. I think she's destined for the tag titles. But I mean, if you want to put Okada and Takeshita on last, I fully support that. I know that's not going to be the case, but I would love that. But yeah, I mean, I really a lot of these people, like a lot of these individual wrestlers have been doing really, really solid work as of late. I mean, the first ones that come to mind are that the heel portion of the Stadium Stampede. I mean, the stuff that the Demand has been doing. Andrade, I think, has had some of the best TV matches of his career recently. The Dogs have, I mean, especially I've been impressed with Clark Connors, really,
Yeah.
showing his personality and stuff. But I think everybody's really hitting right now.
Mark Davis is
then
a
you got
champ
Big Boom
too.
AJ.
Mark Davis, being a champ now too, right?
Yeah, Mark Davis is doing
Yeah.
great work. And that was the thing, is like when he got hurt and then got hurt again and Fletcher really broke out, it was just like, oh no, like everybody's just gonna forget about Mark Davis. And he's battled his way back and he is in a prominent spot and he's killing it right now.
Yeah, yeah. That's going to be it'll be a lot of fun too. I mean, Chris Jericho, whether you like him or not. I mean, it's funny actually, the beginning of Dynamite this past week where they're talking about Chris Jericho beating up the Bucks dad and he was like apologizing for it and stuff, and talking about just the matches and the feuds they've had. I thought that was a kind of an interesting, because Chris Jericho is obviously leaking for the baby face, or trying to is getting babyface reaction. People are singing along with him again, so it's fun.
I'm Wednesday was the most I've been impressed with Chris Jericho in the ring in a while. Somebody who's been around that long.
Yeah. You do Frankensteiner? Is that what it was?
Yeah, all sorts. Yeah, keeping up with the Bucks.
Yeah.
I remember like saying this like after Dynamite was over. Like there was a lot of really good stuff on Dynamite, and to me, the in-ring star of 3 hours of TV on Wednesday night was Chris Jericho.
Wow.
I didn't ever expect I would say something like that again, but he did very good work on Wednesday. That was a really, really fun way to open up that show.
Yeah, that was I give Chris he's coming to town, folks, if you want to see him. I think it's August 17th with his band Quarantine. And it's funny that he had such a good show.
His music still sucks.
It does. You see the picture that Dr. Love sent me that I forwarded to y'all, a guy with his son visiting. It must have been a pizza place someplace in Florida, I'm guessing. His son Ash. I just like, it took me a while to figure out who the heck the picture was he sent to me, and he's like, "Oh, Ash Jericho." So I gotta talk to him. He's supposed to be coming up. We're gonna do lunch or something sometime soon. I need to catch up with him a little bit, but it was I think this past week, what a fun. I hate to say it when it goes 3 hours. I have a hard time staying awake for the last hour, and I do, and I did, and it was as much as I can remember. So I'm kind of watching it. I watched it back just to go through it again and see all the violence that happened so early on the show and everything. But it was this is going to be a great pay-per-view. You guys don't want to miss it. You don't got to get up and go to work next morning. So someone can tell Tony he can go long if he wants. I mean, you don't.
No, because he's going to do that.
He doesn't need anybody to
go longer. Then no.
I mean, he's been good the last pay-per-view, I think, or was it the one before? I can't remember. One of them, he actually.
It's an improvement that this only has 9 matches on the main card only. Which I feel like was maybe the case last time as well, but I mean those numbers are less than they used to be. So that's an improvement for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, WWE has a pay-per-view end before 9 o'clock. Their last Backlash was done before 9 o'clock, so that
you get more wrestling on an AEW 0-hour buy-in than you do on an entire WrestleMania. So
that's for sure, man, without a doubt. So that that's going on this weekend. I want to talk a little bit about Willow Nightingale getting injured. Willow hurt on Collision the week before, had to relinquish the title, the TBS title, and I didn't see what they plan on doing with the TBS title.
They haven't said it yet. The only thing Tony said was that they're waiting until after Double or Nothing to reveal that and stuff. So they're not rushing
we have two
into
tournaments running simultaneously.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. I think they could just
you
do
you could do a gauntlet, something like that. I'm curious to see who ends up getting it. It sucks for Willow. But yeah, I'm glad he's not rushing into like, oh, the winner of the Owen also gets the TBS title or something stupid like that. So
we know what we do is you bring Eric Bischoff there and have him give it to Triple H. No, sorry. That still burns me deep inside. Okay, that when they just handed a title to the guy, and then now that's the title that everyone wears on. It's not the Cody title; it's the other one. But no, yeah, it's a shame because Willow is a fan favorite without a doubt, and it's a shame. I don't know if they said what the injury was. A shoulder injury. Okay, so it was a shoulder injury. When Willow had wrestled Red Velvet on the May 16th edition of Collision, unfortunately, but kind of a bummer because she's been doing so well this past couple of years. I think she is obviously, and she knows how to entertain. So hopefully it doesn't keep her out long and she'll be back.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to see her get injured. She's so popular. She does a great job. The losing the title part doesn't matter to me at all because she's had a lot of time with hardware in the last couple of years. Like that, I think it was time for a new champion anyway. A lot of other people on that roster that could benefit from some time with a title. So curious to see where they go with it. But obviously there's a lot going on between the women's world title, the TBS title, the Owen Cup, the women's tag titles. And I that's one of my complaints about this pay-per-view. I really wish there was an actual main card feud related match for the Divine Dominion, as opposed to them being stuck with another 5-minute
kickoff match. Yeah.
It seems like they're kind of just in a holding pattern right now. And I'd really like to see them get a good feud going for a month or two and stuff before they eventually drop the belts to the Brawling Birds.
I think that the Divine Dominions, sometimes their intro is longer than their matches. Okay. So at least it seems that way, but
okay. I had to add something when Artiste was mentioning that we could be entering the best era of the AEW tag team division. Several months ago, I predicted a ladder match at All In between Cage and Cope, Young Bucks, and FTR. Obviously, that was before some notable free agents. There could be an unbelievable tag team ladder match at All In.
You just got thinking about that. Like, at what point is it too much in terms of adding in and stuff? But yeah, I mean, there's so many.
But if you add certain 2 tag teams that are currently free agents, and every single one of those teams has a claim to be the greatest tag team of the last 10 years?
Or do you do a ladder match has to happen at some point. You also can do quite the tag team gauntlet match as well at some point.
Oh, that'd be fun.
So
yeah, I mean, that'd be a great intro to that free agent team out there that I might have mentioned. It's one of the guys' birthdays today. At the beginning of the show.
We obviously know one team's ending up there.
Yeah.
Whether or not that other team ends up there is, I think, a bigger question mark, but I think it's a certainty.
But they're definitely, yeah. What's funny is the WWE cut all these people and everything, and now they're trying. What I heard, quote unquote, claimed was that they didn't think the tag team division was getting over. So what they're doing is they're bringing in some guys who were in the tag team division before to try some more. Try to reinvigorate the tag team division, and that's kind of the news later on.
I heard the opposite. I heard that they're going to rely on these mashup teams of existing talent they have.
Well, there was rumors just yesterday that I read, and I might as well just jump to it now that Big Cass and Enzo are going to be reuniting in WWE. Big Cass's contract is up, I think, in AEW, and Enzo has been seen at the Performance Center, and so they're thinking about them bringing them back into the tag division together because they felt that it was weak, and but man, it wouldn't surprise me either way if they did it either way. But that's and they said that that's why they got rid of the Wyatt Six as well. They dumped them because they just didn't feel there was any interest in and they held the tag titles in WWE a lot in this past year, and then they just cut them right a week after WrestleMania. So them and the Motor City Machine Guns. So they're but it wouldn't surprise me, like you said, DC, that if they would start matching up people, like, I mean, obviously we're getting like the Miz and the English guy,
Wilson,
Kip Wilson there. And and they're working towards stuff like that. But I didn't want to bring that up because it's like, how do you get rid of the Motor City Machine Guns when you're trying to build a tag division? It's like, that just doesn't make any sense.
I wonder when they signed the Machine Guns if they always knew that it was going to be a very quick tenure there. Which I don't. I mean, I'm glad that Sabin and Shelley got to go there, experience it, and win their belts.
Tat.
But now I'm ready to see them have wrestling matches on wrestling shows that I actually watch. So.
There you go. Well, I mean, they weren't on TV anyways, I mean, they were on pre-shows. They were, I mean, they did, when they got rid of Ciampa and I think that the tag team division was just thrown away at that point, and they were still there. So
how long before we unify the WWE tag team titles and give it to the Usos again?
Yeah. Remember that they got rid of the Intercontinental title and brought that back, and everything's just cyclical there. So
I mean, they have 2 sets of tag team titles and they don't have enough teams to satisfy one.
Yeah. It's that's their, and they're also like on a penny pinching spree because the tops aren't getting enough money or whatever. So
how long until it's going to be the WWE Tag Team Championship presented by JVC Kaboom Box, and it's got an ad, like one of the side plates on the belt is an actual company logo of an advertiser and stuff anyway. So
yeah. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if too long on that one. So
this is a good time to share this. I saw a WWE drone knocking AEW this week because they didn't have advertisements on their tables.
Even TNA's got iHeart ads.
I mean, they don't even have people that want to advertise on their tables. It's like,
or we don't want that.
Yeah,
just like I don't need to see patches on hockey jersey chests and stuff too. But here we are.
It's amazing someone would complain about that. If anything, I get that kind of ticks me off when I see advertisements in every angle that you see,
But the people that blindly just love and support WWE are really you have to really reach to come up with ways that if you're an honest person, AEW is not the superior wrestling product right now.
Well, there's a lot of practicing going on in this country of people pretending that they like things that they probably deep down know are terrible. So
yeah, that's true. That's
people.
True.
Yeah.
Well, I agree 100%. So let's move on.
It just makes me think I had a clip pop up this morning from 9 years ago today when we won the Clark Cup, and just thinking of the ice in Sioux City and how many ads were in the ice it was like the first talking point of everybody. Anytime anybody tuned into that series, like they had the hockey crease was a sun, like a bright yellow sun. And then there was probably like 7 ads on the ice just in one zone and stuff. So I don't know if we blame European soccer or NASCAR or what, but the advertising has just gotten so out of control that what was it? I mean, is Brock Lesnar still the only person to wear like advertising on his gear?
Yes.
I'm sure that's going to change at some point.
Oh yeah.
Did they have to give 50% pay cuts to people to bring him back in?
Yeah, good question. I guess the tops weren't touched, as they say. So, yeah, it's funny is, that's going to be a point of contention for them for a long time because you sign somebody to a contract and then you don't want to fulfill it. It's kind of like the whole story when Vince McMahon told Bret Hart he couldn't afford him anymore, go to WCW. And then kind of like the whole screw job thing happened. So,
it's kind of like, why do you have contracts if you don't want to honor them?
Yeah. Oh no, that's agrees. So let's move on just for a little bit. We'll beat up some other, we'll beat up WWE a little bit more in a second. No, they got the Saturday night's main event tonight. It's going to be held in Fort Wayne, Indiana at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum. They've got, it looks like 5 matches on the card with, and there's some
as many matches as a WrestleMania night.
Pretty much. Penta versus Ethan Page for the IC title. We got Bria Bella and Page versus Nia Jackson, Lash Legends for the WWE Women's Tag.
Double duty for Ethan Page. Wow. Or is that Diamond Dallas? Okay.
Logan Paul and Austin Theory versus the Street Profits for the World Tag titles. Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca in a non-title match. And Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss versus Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and Michin. And that's it's going to be live on Peacock and YouTube internationally. It's at 8 o'clock.
Didn't B-Fab get fired like years ago?
What's that? Who was fired? Brie Bella?
No, B-Fab?
Oh, B-Fab? I don't know.
I thought maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. B-Fab and Michin kind of like transitioned over to Jade Cargill's baddies, kind of. So so that I guess B-Fab never, maybe if B-Fab was cut and then brought back possibly, but I mean everybody on this list had been cut one way or the other at some point. I think Brie Bella and Paige were both removed. I think Nia Jax left for a while. So except for maybe the Logan Paul and Austin Theory. But yeah, no, this is
they can go.
Yeah, they can. This is live on Peacock at 8 o'clock, and you can check that out if you're going to watch. It's interesting because it's such a low promoted event that it's like a side thing. They didn't really care that much about it, but it's like, and then of course a week, 2 days before, they're cramming it down our throats on SmackDown last night. But because their next pay-per-view is in Italy, and that would be the WWE Clash in Italy. That's going to be in another week or so. And they've made a big deal this past week that the first hour of that's going to be on ESPN. I think that's going to be a deal from now on because ESPN doesn't feel like they're getting their money's worth, I believe, from WWE. And, I could have
anybody feel like they're getting their money's worth from WWE? TKO shareholders, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. They just, now that they're offering free stuff on ESPN, I don't know if that was ever the plan, but it certainly is now going forward. Every pay-per-view's at least had an hour or two for free. So
ESPN with a very nice piece on Darby Allin this week too.
I saw that. That's, it's like, it just shows they're not too biased, I guess, WWE.
Well, until, that one point where they did remove AEW from their wrestling section.
Yeah, well, I mean, ESPN.
I wonder how their hockey coverage has been going these playoffs, as I've been tuning into Sportsnet in Canada for every single one instead of the ESPN broadcast. But
it's interesting. ESPN. Remember when the coach was working there, and they were trying to do like a crossover WWE thing, and then they just kind of like gave up on that. That was a few years ago, and then I think that I mean, in all reality, professional wrestling is a performance over a sport, so it's like, I know that they could be, critical of that and say, well, this is predetermined or whatever. And why would we want to be connected with them? But I think their bosses said that this is going to have to happen. So that's kind of why, Pat McAfee was big over. We'll never see him again though. But, it's always interesting how the world turns, because I remember when ESPN was so anti wrestling, the biggest event in the world could be taking place and they wouldn't, I mean, WrestleMania, I mean, not that WrestleMania was the biggest place, but for years it was the only large, giant, end of the year type of, or, the biggest pay-per-view of the year. And they wouldn't even, bat an eyelash at it. And now
you can still tune in for the World Series of Poker, the World Series of Darts,
they have
World Series of
Cornhole. Yeah.
Hot dog eating.
Hot dog eating. That's coming up soon, folks. That would be in July. I think if the what's his name is out of jail by then, the guy who wins it every
Joey
year.
Chestnut.
Yeah, he apparently he assaulted a fan at a bar or something, and he yeah. So so let's beat up a wrestler now from WWE. No, I shouldn't joke like that because they probably, now that we're streaming on, we do it on, I put it up on we have the show recorded and streamed on YouTube, so it gives them more an opportunity for people to watch it. And I do get some messages back, so we're not really beating up on WWE. We're just beating up on a guy named Ludwig Kaiser on their crew because he had a bad week. You know, it was actually something that happened not even this past week. It was something that happened back in April. But you know what, Ludwig Kaiser, you might remember him as is he the original? I don't know which Americano he is, but
Not the original.
no, he's not the original. So, but he was revealed in Orange County court records that he was arrested on a battery charge on this past Wednesday over an alleged incident that took place in an apartment complex on April 23rd. The complainant accused Kaiser of attacking him following an incident in an elevator where apparently Kaiser and this girl were like getting too physical in the elevator, and the guy said he used the word uncontrollably intimate. So
there's two very different statements coming out about what actually happened.
Oh, really?
There's one where the guy sounds very proper and saying, "Hey, you need to not do that," and another one where he made reference to calling ICE on the woman.
Oh, really?
So it's two very different sides on this.
I would think that a pro wrestler would not try to get in the news if they like to keep their job, you know. But well, he was. What happened was the guy said that he was being uncontrollably intimate while aggressively kissing the woman that was with him in the elevator. And when they reached the 12th floor, he said,
"How long are you on the elevator for? Like you can't wait 5 seconds to get to your apartment?"
The guy said to him, "Please have some manners," which that's what DC is saying. May have been some other words that came out.
Yeah, it's a very conflicting story. Somebody says, "Please have some manners," and
then I think that I wouldn't punch. I definitely wouldn't punch somebody for saying that. I would maybe for what the other thing was, but
I don't know. He's always seemed like kind of a hothead. He seems like someone that would do that.
Yeah, well, he lost Tiffany Stratton, so I mean
That's because he was sliding into Charlotte's DMs.
That's what I heard, you know? So, oh no, guys, I see you guys in the chat room. Don't worry. I see you. I see you. They're making comments, and they said Machine Guns never got over. I'm reading them. Don't worry, buddy. Yeah. So nevertheless, Ludwig Kaiser has now been, pulled off of TV and everything for a while. They could just put another guy in a mask, I guess, if they wanted to, because, that's what they did, to put him there. So, but it's interesting that the story kind of unfolded, and I don't think that, I mean, if you work in the WWE, you try not to make the newspaper, because that tends to get you fired.
It depends on who you are.
Apparently he was in Mexico when they had the arrest warrant for him. So he had to fly back from Mexico because he was doing a AAA show, go through the booking process, and then go back to Mexico. Very, very, very compliant with the guys in blue. And but the guy had the guy who got hit had scratches on his face or on his head with a redness in the area. So he may have got popped once or something. But the warrant was issued for Kaiser, who turned himself in Wednesday and filed a written non-guilty plea, and we'll know more about it later. But I thought that was just an interesting story because, when you're a wrestler, I mean, the biggest beef with people during WrestleMania week was the fans were like interjecting themselves into everything the wrestlers were trying to do, including the hotel security was lax, and so people were like knowing where the rooms were for the wrestlers, and they were like waiting for them to come back. And it was a really bad spot. If you were a wrestler, if you wanted to have any privacy, because it was almost impossible to get to your room without people mobbing you. So, which is pretty sad, Yeah,
so the one statement was have some respect and stop being uncontrollably intimate. And the other report is you need to show some effing respect before I call ICE on that B.
Oh my God. And beautiful girl too. I saw the picture of her too. Absolutely beautiful. So But that's terrible. That's a terrible thing to say. So
You said that the guy said something intimate. Nobody's using that wording if they're telling somebody to stop.
Uncontrollably intimate.
You need to stop being uncontrollably intimate. Nobody's ever said that sentence. That's absurd.
Someone said,
so I'm not buying that one.
What happened was he got hit, and then someone said, that guy wrestles for WWE. Oh, call the police,
Yeah.
That's that one, so there are, and that's like I said, but the fans, like in Vegas, they were, people see you're a wrestler, they think you make millions and millions of dollars, and they figure if you assault them, I mean, you look at the stuff in the airports. I'm surprised more wrestlers don't hit people there too, with the people that mob them when they get off of planes and stuff. But I'm not saying he's innocent. Maybe he did, but maybe it was in response to like that, the terrible thing that guy said, which, you have to defend. I guess that's to defend a woman. I don't know. We'll see we'll hear more. I guess
I usually don't advocate for violence unless it is somebody that makes a statement like that. I think, yeah, go ahead and punch the guy.
Yeah. And
or if it's a wrestling fan by baggage claim in airport, then no, I'm not advocating for that. But as if there aren't enough bad experiences with flying to have to deal with these fans pushing 16 things they want to get signed to throw on eBay after. Yeah, no.
Oh no, yeah, I get that. I mean, listen, we knew people like that, right? I mean, didn't we know people?
Yes. We may have had people on the show that were like that.
We definitely knew people who had like, I mean, I have hung with people outside the Blue Cross Arena. I'm not an autograph hound, but
that to me is a little bit different though. Yeah. I mean, going to somebody's hotel, up to somebody while they're eating at a restaurant, going up to somebody at baggage claim when you don't even have a flight of your own, or the hotel when you're not staying there and stuff like that's a different level to me. I don't have a problem, especially with, like, if it's kids that are standing like near that surface lot at the Blue Cross Arena, whatever. Like,
yeah, we know it's not.
No. It's just the problem is when you have like the
adult men.
Yeah, it's
right. When it's an adult that has a binder that pushes all this stuff and like pushes their way in front of the kids and stuff, like that's the problem. But
without a doubt, I know
or pushes their kid to get stuff signed for them to then put on eBay and stuff, using the kids to get it. Yeah,
like the equivalent of a grown ass man stealing a foul ball from a kid at a ballpark.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's interesting. As a friend of mine from Buffalo, they had a WWE show there. I'm talking like 20 years ago, and he's like, I'm going to the airport to catch the wrestlers coming in. And it's like, I would never do that.
If I'm one of these wrestlers that gets hounded everywhere, I'm not going to say no to signing for kids and stuff, but like you should be able to like live your life and not have to worry about that 24/7. But I would institute a rule of like, you want me to sign something? I am personalizing it. What's your name?
Yes,
and you're not turning around and putting this on eBay because now your name's on it.
Yep.
Unless somebody else with your name is buying it on eBay or whatever, like, and whatever, if you're going to that length. But that's what I would do.
It's interesting you brought that up because I saw an interview with Paul McCartney this week where he talked about he will not take pictures with fans because if he does one, then he's got to do 100 of them.
Yeah.
And so he's like, if I do one, it just sets a precedent that everyone's going to be able to stop me everywhere I'm going. So Paul McCartney does not take pictures with fans outside of arenas and stuff. So, which is cool. I mean, I get that. And I think, that's, power to him. I think a lot of wrestlers realize the fans, the fandom of them as a wrestler is what keeps them employed. And so sometimes you have to give a little bit back when you don't want to, I'm thinking, because I remember clear as day Jericho leaving WWE at the Blue Cross Arena where he was in a limo and he stopped and he rolled his window down and he signaled for people to come over. And as soon as they came over, the window went back up and he took off, and the whole crowd laughed because not everybody was there to get an autograph, so it was like, he would toy with people, but he was also a heel too. So obviously, what heels do. So,
well, and for better or worse, I mean, there's so much nowadays with all the conventions and signings and stuff and meet and greets and WrestleMania weekend conventions of multiple ones and stuff. Like there are opportunities to meet wrestlers. The problem is that you used to be able to do that for free in a lot of senses, and now you're paying a ton of money. But some of these guys and girls are a little busy enough. Like let them just live their lives when they're not on the clock doing a signing or wrestling or something. So
yeah. I mean, I'm guilty first and foremost because one, I had someone take a picture with freaking Michelle Beadle behind me. Okay. And then I got called a creeper. So
if Michelle Beadle is sitting in the row with you, like that to me is not, yeah, that's totally acceptable. She's still the best person I ever sat next to at a wrestling show. So
there you go. There you go.
very
Yeah.
entertaining.
Michelle be hitting you and stuff, right?
Aside from her trying to force me to chant and dance and all sorts of stuff all night, it was a good time. So
there you go, Michelle. So I'm going to get some news and we'll get out of here. And that was, we're actually kind of was in the news already, but we're going to do a little bit more here. So, so this past week, just some little tidbits of WWE news. Nikki Blackheart officially made her NXT Dark Match debut. She'd been under contract with WWE for at least the last couple of months before quietly appearing at a recent taping. These are some of the new people that will be coming up that you'll see very soon. WWE, Ella, Envy, and Emily J were both backstage at Raw, served as extras on the show. They appeared in Seth Rollins' arrival footage that aired during the broadcast. I mentioned Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca for Saturday Night Main Event. People thought it was going to be a title match. It's not a title match. Asuka addressed recent speculations regarding her WWE status, and Asuka confirmed that she'll be back. She's just needed to take some time to go back to Japan for some stuff. And a number of NXT talents released last month officially became free agents as of this weekend, meaning they're now cleared to sign and work elsewhere moving forward. Tony Storm news. Tony Khan reportedly had extensive creative plans mapped out for Tony Storm that were intended to play out throughout the year. Those plans were obviously halted due to her injury situation, and it's now said that Storm is not expected to return to the ring at any point during 2026. Let me ask you: is she pregnant? Was she pregnant? I mean, because they wrote her off with an injury, but she hide nor hair of her since. We've heard nothing.
Right. Yeah. I find the whole silence around it a little weird. So it seems like it's something that they want private, which definitely makes it seem like it's a possible pregnancy. Because when have they not disclosed injuries to people?
Yeah. No, it's true, and it's like, especially one that's going to take her out for the whole year, the rest of the year. That's why I think that's what I'm just speculating. It probably, I don't know, unless it's something really serious. Beyond that, which would be like a cancer diagnosis or something. But I don't think that's it. I think, but the way it happened so quickly, I immediately began to believe it might have been a pregnancy. So we don't know. But like I said, Tony Storm had a whole year of stuff plotted out for her through Tony Khan, and that's I'd be held up. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to it when she does make her return. So I did mention that Fabian Eichner, formerly known as Giovanni Vinci in WWE, made his TNA debut this past week and will be wrestling on TNA Impact this past week or this next week. It's interesting. His name is Fabian Eichner, but he came out to the Veni Vidi Vici thing. That's what I was talking about in the beginning of the show. And that was because he was Giovanni Vinci. So it's like, it's interesting that he's still coming. And that was probably the thing. I can't even remember him as a solo wrestler because he was kind of broken apart from Ludwig Kaiser there pretty quick. So, but we'll see how it goes. He did come out and I think he did challenge a champion. So we will see that. Mick Foley, we talked about it last week, has a new gig. Tony Khan announced that Foley will be co-hosting AEW Double or Nothing pre-show with Renee Paquette. This will be Foley's first appearance for AEW. Double or Nothing will be held Sunday, of course, in Queens. The 1 hour pre-show starts at 7. So Mick Foley, what do you guys think about Mick Foley coming to AEW? I know that he at one point said, I am not on board WWE. Please don't, he probably let his Legends contract run out or something, but he's like, I'm not making appearances for him anymore until a certain president is taken out of the Hall of Fame or something like that. But I'm excited for Mick Foley. I mean, I've always liked Mick Foley. He's always been a great to the show as well. You know, you hear the beginning of the show, it's Mick Foley talking on the beginning. So I think it's good. You know, I mean, does Willie wrestle? I heard he dropped a ton of weight too. So I don't want to see him wrestle. You know, I mean, obviously he had a hip replacement, I think, not too long ago too. So Rob, what do you think of Mick coming on to, you know, help out with the announcing?
I mean, I agree with pretty much all of that. I don't want to see him wrestle. He's whatever he would do in the ring is not going to be nearly the same as what it was before. And to be honest, like some of his later TNA stuff or whatever, like
TNA
didn't
was
need to
terrible.
happen in the ring either. So, I don't know. I mean, it seems like it'll be a limited capacity here and there thing. Like I think it was said like the expectation is all of the pay-per-views and then like some TVs here and there. So I guess it's just wait and see how they use him. I don't know if it's going to be a huge deal. I mean, to be honest on that, if he does, you know, co-host the pre-show and stuff, like I don't see him doing like a GM role or wrestling or managing or I mean maybe some commentary, which could be good.
Is a
They have a
GM
lot of
role
really good commentators there though, but
is a GM role necessary anymore? You know, I mean, I know, yeah, we get it on Raw and
I don't
SmackDown.
think it is an AEW now. I think like there are spots in wrestling that it can work. And I guess with him it's commissioner.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not a need for that in AEW. I mean, you're already trying to cram so much into 2 hours and stuff anyway, or I don't even know, like that 3 hour show on Wednesday, that was 3 hours and like 20 minutes or something, maybe. I don't know. They still went quite a bit over, but no, I mean, I've always really liked Mick. So, you know, interested to see it. I think that the hosting of that pre-show has always been entertaining to me. Um, Jeff Jarrett did some great work on there. RJ City always does really entertaining work, and I hope he's still involved with it. I would like to see interactions with him and Mick. I mean, it's only billed as Renee and Mick, so
Yeah.
that's almost a little concerning to me that RJ's not listed on it. Um, Obviously, he's another one that a lot of us are biased with, former ESW Triple Crown winner and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's a big get. I mean, obviously, shows that Mick is somebody who really means business with what he says about things that he sticks up for, which I give him all the credit in the world for doing that with his platform. So
I agree. And and I think that, you know, he's quality. He loves wrestling. He still watches everything, obviously, you know, I mean,
I've never heard anybody say a bad word about Mick Foley ever from
besides
any
being cheap,
appearance.
and those were the wrestlers who used to drive with, you know, yeah.
But
The cookie story. Remember the cookie story with DDP? They crushed up the cookies and put him in DDP's bed, and he was all pissed off about it. And that was Steve Austin probably who started that, though. You know?
Yeah.
But
I mean, I've heard some DDP stories, but I haven't really heard the Mick Foley stories.
I'm gonna say
DDP. Yeah.
No. I mean, Mick Foley's no. Mick Foley, he swam across what was it, Canisius Lake? You know, I was just telling somebody that story the other day
I
about
don't remember that.
in his book. He talked about
Which one? He wrote so many.
yeah, it was the first one, I believe. He talked about coming to Canisius Lake in the summertime when he was a kid, and he swam across the lake. So, yeah, he's we're big fans, and I'm looking forward to hearing him. That'll be a lot of fun. And it's like he's still obviously everywhere too, doing, you know, stand up comedy or whatever, his talks and things like that. So
I spent a lot of time on Canisius Lake as a kid. Lived
Yeah.
there a little bit and stuff too, but a lot of time in the water. I can't imagine swimming across it though with all the
maybe
boats.
with like something floaty or
Right.
something, you know, if you just kick, you know, it'd take you a half hour. I don't know, but okay. So let me move on to some other news. That's good. I think that's good for. So a sad story from a NASCAR. Kyle Busch passed away at the age of 41 this past week. He had been. He worked with WWE quite a bit. I know that he was back in 2009. He served as special guest host of Raw. He later returned in 2019. He captured the WWE 24/7 Championship from R-Truth when they were doing the NASCAR WWE crossover stuff. And it's really sad when someone is 41 years old and just dies out of the blue. And then, it's like still nobody really knows what happened. I just know that he had some sort of respiratory issue and that he had raced the weekend before and said that he needed to have a doctor meet him as soon as he was done with the race because he was having issues. So that's really sad. I mean, I don't, I'm not a big NASCAR fan, but I'm a big human fan and I don't want to see anybody die. And so it's really sad that, and he was like, obviously, historic NASCAR. He has like so many wins and stuff, but it's, I do remember.
I didn't realize he was only 41.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. He was, that's a shame. And I remember some friends of mine, he had come to Rochester with, before Watkins Glen and was doing some burnouts on Main Street in the city in a race car. And Seth Voorhees was posting like some memories of that and everything. But it's like he does have a wrestling connection, and we send our best to his families and everything. But it's like it's still the big mystery of what happened, and it just shows you, man, you're 41, and he looked like he was in great shape too, that it could get you out of nowhere. So some other news. Okay, let's see. This coming up May 29th, WWE's got a show called Made in America. It's going to be following SmackDown. And it's going to be on multiple encore presentations through June. The documentary is described as a deep dive into WWE's growth from a regional wrestling promotion into a worldwide entertainment powerhouse over the course of several decades. Joe Tessitore is set to host the documentary. They've got lots of commentary from people like Triple H, Cody Rhodes, Jimmy Hart, The Undertaker, Booker T, Sergeant Slaughter, Kane, Matt Cardona, Carmelo Hayes, Natty Neidhart, Javon Evans, and just looks like it was a documentary directed by Matt Brain, and of course Triple H, Lee Fitting, and Ben Hauser are listed as executive producers. But it's a real good retrospective if you want you want to do some history deep diving on WWE. You might want to catch that. Debuts Friday, May 29th. That's this Friday after SmackDown if you want to check it out. I already mentioned Enzo and Cass. They're thinking about bringing them back together. Enzo has been seen in the Performance Center. Cass has not re-signed with AEW. It's interesting. AEW, Warner Brothers, Discovery, and TikTok are collaborating on a special AEW-themed TikTok live event of AEW Dynamite live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on Wednesday, May 27th, which would be this Wednesday, starting at 6 p.m., creating a companion experience designed to bring fans closer to the personalities, energy, and spectacle surrounding AEW. Titled AEW Advance, the TikTok Live pre-show will give fans an all-access pass inside the electric atmosphere at the Philadelphia Liacouras Center. Is that how you say it? Liacouras Center? Yeah, Rob, you would know, right?
Liacouras.
Before AEW Dynamite, which airs live on TV.
The Liacouras Center.
Yes. I did announce
named for former Temple University president Peter Liacouras.
That's right.
Yes.
It's a beautiful arena. I loved it when I was there for roller derby back. I can't remember 10 years ago. It was a great place.
It is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And my face is still on the wall outside of section 123. Yeah, it's always fun when they're back at Temple, and always fun to hear Tony Schiavone pronounce it correctly after I had to teach him how to do so. So
there you go. There, Tony. Don't forget us. So AEW, check this out. It'll be live. It's obviously from the fallout of AEW Double or Nothing. The event will simulcast across AEW on TV, and TBS Network on TikTok. Now, I'm not a big TikTok guy. I have it, and every once in a while I'll get a thing about it, but not really. Maybe I'll open it up and see what it is, and see what they're doing. That's, the personalities behind AEW. Maybe we'll see Amanda, because I'm sure, she's all over the place during those shows. So, yeah, so that's interesting. So and there's been no movement yet on AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery over extension beyond their contract right now because of the whole thing going on with Paramount being sold, and it's still kind of up in the air. At least there's no news about it. I'm sure they're still having discussions on the deal, but we'll keep our eyes on that for you. Speaking of someone else who might be showing up again soon, looks like Baron Corbin could be WWE bound again. The Lone Wolf has been rumored for a potential return to WWE in recent weeks. I guess you fire a bunch of people, it leaves some money available, right? Bringing Baron Corbin back. So he recently wrapped up his run with MLW, fueling speculation about his next move. And he is a former WWE United States champion. I did get to kind of help interview him with Carl Falk probably about 6 years ago, when he was on the Carl Falk show on WHTK a long time ago. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but it looks like Marty Jannetty had his ankle or his foot amputated. I saw a picture, and his family put out, they said they had to remove all infected bone, and so he underwent a below the knee amputation, and that happened actually April 1st. So Marty, we have a love-hate relationship with Marty Jannetty, obviously being one of the Midnight Rockers with Shawn Michaels, and then going through the barbershop window, and then him asking us to send him calling cards. He'd come on if we send him cards that he could call us long distance on, which we never did, which we kind of shook our heads at, that back in this shows you how long ago it was, calling card, long distance cards. It was quite a while ago, but we sent our best out to him. I mean, I did get to meet him. He came to upstate UPW and wrestled at the Dome, believe it or not, or he was involved in the show at the Dome. I don't know if he actually wrestled. He had real bull legs or something was going on, but obviously, we want him, get rid of that infection, and it had to by amputating from his knee down on his one leg. So. Another piece of news I thought was pretty cool is that AEW and Ring of Honor are going to highlight the first ever Major League Baseball post-game card called Brawl. If you go to the game between the Twins and the Angels in Minnesota on Friday, July 10th at Target Field, they'll be after the game. You get to stay around and watch. They have wrestling matches after it. High octane post-game event. And it's I don't know, it doesn't say what it's like 90 minutes after the game ends. So I'm guessing if it's a 7 p.m. game start, that'd be 8:10 p.m. game start. I can imagine how late that would be, but I still think that's pretty cool that it's been a while since we had the ballpark brawl things like that going on. And now AEW and Ring of Honor are going to be doing it with the Minnesota Twins. So that's coming up, and that's all the news I really got. Rob, are you still there? I see the Pain Clinic flag.
I am here. Yes.
Okay. Well,
there's a few companies that have done some of those ballpark shows. A couple indies. I know TNA was doing some for a little bit there with the Global Force and everything, and I missed those ballpark brawl days. But I know GCW did one last year. I think that could happen again. I always enjoyed those. I mean, it was always just really, everybody was nervous about the weather. And I feel like that only happened once with
the ballpark.
Well, there were two that were impacted by it, including the Rochester one.
Well, that very last one in Buffalo had to be put not on the field because of the rain, I think. And
I think the baseball game itself got canceled, but the wrestling still happened, but we had to move to that side part there. But always a good time. I mean, I always love the outdoor shows in the summertime. Most companies don't have logistics of like setting up a giant like WrestleMania covering for a ring, especially if you're putting it out on the field after a game ends and stuff. But those are always fun things. And I mean, it also sounded too like AEW is looking at more and more of these unique venues like that golf place and stuff. So maybe we'll get some more outdoor stuff. Still want to see if somebody can buy the old Club La Vila and run a Nitro-esque show out there on that old abandoned property.
There you go. That'd be awesome. It was, I had a lot of fun at baseball parks with wrestling. And I know that this coming up this week, the Rochester Red Wings have a wrestling themed night. I think it's the 29th, which would be Friday night. And it sounds like a lot of fun. I don't know if I thought they were bringing Kevin Nash. I think I saw it. Yeah. Kevin Nash is coming to the Red Wings game this Friday. I know that JC Money has something to do with it as well. So a friend of the show. So you guys check that out. But tomorrow night, you got you got Double or Nothing, and I'm super excited for a pay-per-view where I don't have to get up super early the next morning. So, don't forget, check it out. 7 o'clock is when the pre-show starts. You got an hour pre-show with 2 matches. You definitely, the funny thing is you almost get more matches on the pre-show. You mentioned that earlier than you do on the WWE or live shows there. Cause there was 3 on the live show on the last pay-per-view. There was 2 that you could have watched on ESPN, and then there was 3 after that. This one, you got 2 matches on the pre-show, which you're going to get probably about 25 wrestlers involved in. Or no, you got 2 tag teams, and the rest is like you got the tag match to start it, and then you've got the pre-show with the 10-man tags. So you're going to get if you
and a trios, yeah.
Oh yeah, and a trios there. So that's 3 matches on the pre-show.
And the women's tag has got that 5-minute time limit, which means it still could go longer than some WrestleMania matches. So, and it's still going to go longer than pretty much every Attitude Era match on Raw.
There you go. Yeah, those yeah, the 2 minutes, and Crash TV, man, you can get 2 or 3 matches in before commercial break too. Or
it's great. I don't know why. I had to go back and look up something from an old Raw from '99, I think. And I didn't realize it at the time. Like, I wasn't in middle school going on cagematch.net and stuff, like looking at match times, but looking at it now, it's like all of these matches, like there was one Raw where like every single match was under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And there was like 14 matches on the show, which is crazy enough too. But like nothing was more than 2 minutes long. And I don't even think that really like occurred to me at the time. But it's been a discussion that I've had with a bunch of people as of late, because there's a lot of people that think that wrestling matches need to be 10 minutes plus, or whatever, on like indie shows and stuff. And I will continue to campaign and say it here now that 6 to 8 minutes is plenty for almost all matches, especially if there's not a storyline.
Yeah, there you go. That sounds, and you think about
6 to 8 minutes can be a very long time, and people hear those numbers and they're like, oh, that's nothing. It can actually be very long.
Where if you were watching those 2, seeing that all those 2-minute matches, where would we be without the segments of the Ho Train and all the time killers that they used to use when they weren't doing matches? I remember hearing a Vince Russo interview where he talked about how in his day matches were never taking breaks in the middle of, and they would never take a break while a match was on. Because
the match would never be still going when you got back from a commercial break.
Yeah,
not long enough. Yeah,
I'll go 2 minutes. So that has a lot to do with that Vince Russo. But he said,
I'll take that era with all those quick matches and stuff any day over nonstop advertisements and just like boring. Like, at least you said like Crash TV, like that kind of stuff. Like, you have a really fun entrance. You do a lot of wacky backstage segments and stuff. It's not just like scene setters with Joe Tessitore talking about like, we're in this city and I'm gonna talk for 5 minutes while you look at some arrival shots from like stop, like just get to the action already.
Eventually they'll have the drone fly over the city too, and you get to see that shot. That's every show it does that, as well as the entrance. Yeah, on the pay-per-view entrances that they do that. It's like, I don't need to see that. I mean
that's the kind of stuff you can put in your pre-show, but like when you're opening an actual TV show or the actual pay-per-view itself, like stop. Like that stuff should be over at that point. Yeah. Stop going to commercial breaks. I mean, especially in a situation where, like, I understand it's not traditional pay-per-view anymore, but you used to have to pay to watch a WWF pay-per-view, and that money should therefore cover not needing to put advertisements on your tables and like in the like 30 minutes of ads between matches and all this crap that's going on these days.
Oh yeah, no, and I think there's a lot of people that like don't want to pay the whatever $27 fee for the ESPN app, to be able to watch WWE pay-per-views, and then they get to watch commercials after paying all that money. Yep. So they're going to burn the crowd out from that without a doubt. There's been people, they've already seen massive amount of complaints about the commercials.
Should a sports fan have to pay as much for a jersey when an advertisement is stitched onto it or printed on it? I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, but it's authentic then, I don't know. Okay. On that
Yeah,
note,
but most of them are made by Fanatics these days anyway, and they're garbage quality.
there you
Throw
go.
that out there.
There we go. And don't sue me. He said it. So we're going to get out of here, folks. I want to thank you guys for chat in the chat room. And I have been reading your stuff the whole time. It's just we had a lot of stuff to get to. So we'll get out of here.
I'm not ignoring anybody in the chat room. I just forget that it exists. So I don't know what you're saying.
Sometimes people don't say anything. Sometimes people say stuff continuously. So if they want our attention, I'll put it in all caps and I'll definitely see it without a doubt quicker. So on that note, we're going to get out of here.
We need to have a pay structure. So if they pay, it boosts their comment, and then
this comment brought to you by Slim Jim.
Yeah,
there you go.
Exactly.
Slim Jim comment.
I can't wait till the Slim Jim table is brought to you by something else. The advertisement has its own advertising.
I noticed the Prime water's been gone, so I wonder if that has run its course. But okay, we're gonna get out of here. We'll see you guys next week. Take it easy. Body slam someone you love.